think you're untouchable, huh? You stand there with that phone like none of this matters. My account is frozen because of you. Do you have any idea what that does to people? To my family?
Sir, I understand you're upset, but yelling at me won't change the policies we follow.
Policies? It's robbery in a suit, and you just stand there, cool as ice.
She stood there, phone in hand, watching a stranger try to erase her from the building she owned. The man in the expensive suit was screaming, his face red with rage, demanding security remove her immediately. Behind the counter of Metropolitan Bank's headquarters, a confused officer hesitated. The woman remained calm, unnaturally calm, as if she knew something no one else in that lobby understood yet. Her briefcase sat between them like evidence at a trial. Within the hour, everyone in that building would learn exactly who she was, and the man shouting at her would wish he'd never opened his mouth.
Maya Richardson woke up at 5:47 a.m., 3 minutes before her alarm, like she did most mornings. Her penthouse apartment overlooked the city's financial district, where glass towers caught the first light of dawn. She'd purchased this place 2 years ago, right after the acquisition went through, right after she became the youngest black woman to own a controlling stake in a major regional bank. She didn't post about it on social media, didn't do the magazine covers they offered. Maya had learned early that in her world, every achievement came with a target painted on your back. Better to move quietly. Better to let the work speak. She dressed in her signature navy suit, Tom Ford, perfectly tailored, and kept her reflection. Professional, authoritative, unthreatening enough that white boardrooms wouldn't immediately close ranks, but powerful enough that she wouldn't be mistaken for an assistant. It was a calculation she'd been making since business school. Her phone buzzed. A text from her COO, Marcus. Legal team ready for 10 a.m. The merger documents are perfect. Today's the day. Today was indeed the day. After 6 months of negotiations, Metropolitan Bank was about to finalize its acquisition of 3 smaller regional institutions, expanding their footprint across 4 states. Maya had structured the deal herself, navigating regulatory approval with precision that had impressed even the most skeptical board members. The Wall Street Journal was running a profile next week. The new face of American banking, they were calling it. She grabbed her leather briefcase, the one her father gave her when she graduated from Wharton, and headed to the elevator. The drive to headquarters. The drive to Metropolitan's downtown headquarters took 20 minutes in light traffic. Maya used the time to review talking points for the press conference scheduled for noon. She'd practiced controlling her tone, her gestures, her expressions. In rooms full of white executives, black women were allowed exactly 2 personas, unthreatening and grateful, or angry and difficult. Competent and confident somehow always got miscategorized as the latter. She pulled into the executive parking garage, her reserved spot clearly marked. M. Richardson, CEO. But Maya had a stop to make first. The main branch lobby had been reporting some customer service issues, and she believed in walking the floor, seeing operations firsthand. Her leadership style was hands-on, something the old guard found unusual for someone at her level. Maybe if they'd spent less time in corner offices and more time with actual customers, the bank wouldn't have needed saving, she'd thought more than once. Entering the lobby. The Metropolitan Bank headquarters lobby was impressive, all marble and brass, designed to project stability and wealth. Maya walked in through the main entrance, not the executive elevator she normally used. A few customers waited in line. 2 tellers worked the counter. A security guard stood near the door. Young guy, probably new. He noticed him glance at her, then away. Nothing unusual there. Maya approached the main counter, intending to speak with the branch manager about the service complaints. She set her briefcase down, pulled out her phone to check a reference email. That's when she heard the voice. The encounter begins. "Excuse me, excuse me." Maya looked up. A white man in an expensive charcoal suit was standing 3 feet away, staring at her with an expression she'd seen too many times in her life. That particular combination of confusion and irritation. The look that said, "You don't belong here." "Can I help you?" Maya asked, her tone professional but measured. I've been waiting for 10 minutes, and you're just standing here on your phone. Is this the kind of service Metropolitan provides now? Maya blinked. I'm sorry, I think there's been a... I don't want apologies. I want to speak to your supervisor, immediately. The lobby had gone quiet. Other customers were watching now. The security guard had taken a step closer, hand near his radio. Maya felt the familiar calculation running through her mind. She could explain. She could show her ID. She could end this in seconds. But something about the man's tone, the assumption in his eyes, the way he'd raised his voice at her in front of everyone, something made her pause. My supervisor? Maya repeated slowly. Yes, now. I'm a platinum account holder, and this is completely unacceptable. The teller behind the counter looked nervous, clearly recognizing Maya, but uncertain how to intervene. The security guard was definitely walking toward them now. Maya stood perfectly still, phone in hand, briefcase on the counter between them. She made a decision. Of course, she said quietly. Let me see what I can do.
The escalation. Finally, the man muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear. Some basic competence. Maya didn't react. She simply looked at the security guard, Officer Chen, according to his nameplate, who had now reached the counter. He looked confused, glancing between Maya and the angry customer. Is there a problem here? Chen asked, his hand still near his radio. Yes, there's a problem, the man said, before Maya could respond. This employee has been standing here wasting time while customers wait. I need to speak to a manager about the service standards in this branch. Chen looked at Maya. She could see recognition flickering in his eyes, but he was new, uncertain. The man's confidence was overpowering the situation. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step aside, Chen said quietly, apologetically. Maya didn't move. I don't think that's necessary. See? The man's voice shot up another decibel. This is exactly what I'm talking about. No respect for customers, no professionalism. Officer, I want her removed from the floor until a manager can address this. Other customers were pulling out phones now. Maya could see at least 3 people recording. The teller behind the counter looked like she wanted to sink through the floor. Sir, let's everyone just calm down, Chen started. Don't tell me to calm down. The man was fully shouting now, his face reddening. I've been a client of this bank for 15 years. 15 years, and I've never been treated with such disrespect. What's your name? He jabbed a finger toward Maya's chest. She took a half step back, maintaining her composure. Meyer Richardson. Well, Meyer Richardson, when I'm done here, you won't have a job. I guarantee it. The words hung in the air. Maya felt something cold settle in her chest. Not fear, but a familiar, exhausting recognition. She'd been here before. Different building, different man, same energy. The assumption that she was someone to be managed, corrected, put in her place. I need to see your employee ID, Chen said, looking miserable. Bank policy. Maya reached slowly into her jacket pocket. She had several forms of identification. Her CEO badge, which would end this immediately. Her building access card. Her business cards with the title embossed in raised lettering. She pulled out her driver's license instead. That's not a bank ID, the man said immediately. Officer, she's refusing to follow protocol. I want her escorted out, now. The accusation. I'm following protocol, Maya said calmly. I'm providing identification as requested. Proper identification, your employee badge. Stop playing games. A small crowd had gathered now, more phones recording. Maya could see the exact moment this would hit social media, the headlines it would generate. She could end it, should end it. But a deeper calculation was running. This man, whoever he was, had revealed something about how Metropolitan's lobby operated, how customers treated staff, how security responded. These were the exact service issues she'd come down to investigate. "I don't have an employee badge on me," Maya said, which was technically true. Her CEO credentials were in her briefcase, not on her person. The man turned to Chen triumphantly. "She doesn't even have proper identification. She's probably not even an employee. Have you checked if she's casing the branch? That briefcase, have you searched it?" Maya's jaw tightened. There it was, the inevitable escalation. Black woman in expensive clothes, must be suspicious, must be dangerous. "Sir, that's not necessary," Chen began. "Not necessary? There's been a rash of bank robberies across the city. This woman is behaving suspiciously, refuses to provide proper ID, and has a large briefcase. You're a security officer. Do your job!" Several customers had backed away now. The energy in the room had shifted from awkward confrontation to potential threat. Maya could see fear creeping into people's expressions. "This is how it happens," she thought. "This is how a CEO ends up face down on the floor of her own building." "Officer Chen," Maya said quietly, meeting his eyes, "you should call your supervisor." "Why? So she can waste more time?" The man moved closer to the counter, fingers stabbing in the air. "I'm calling the police, a real police response, not bank security." He pulled out his phone, and Maya watched him dial 911. "Yes, I'm at Metropolitan Bank headquarters downtown. There's a suspicious woman here refusing to identify herself. The security guard seems unable to handle the situation. She has a large briefcase and is being verbally aggressive toward customers." "Yes, I'll hold." Maya's heart rate stayed steady, but her mind was racing. Once police arrived, the situation would be out of her control. She'd seen enough news stories to know how these encounters could end. Philando Castile reaching for his ID, Sandra Bland asserting her rights, Breonna Taylor asleep in her own home. The viral moment. A woman in yoga pants stepped closer, phone extended. "I'm filming this for your protection," she said to Maya. "Whatever happens, there's a record." "Thank you," Maya said softly. The man wheeled on the woman. "You should be filming her. She's the problem here. Probably doesn't even work here. Look at her. Does she look like a bank employee to you?" The words landed like a slap. Several people gasped. The woman filming flinched but kept recording. "What exactly do you mean by that?" Maya asked, her voice dangerously quiet. "I mean you're standing here in expensive clothes with no ID, being defensive and aggressive. The profile fits." "The profile?" "Yes, you know exactly what I mean." The lobby was dead silent now. Even Chen looked horrified. Maya felt the familiar weight settling on her shoulders. The weight of every black professional who'd been followed in stores, questioned in first class, assumed to be the help in boardrooms. The weight of having to prove your right to exist in spaces you'd earned, bought, or built. She looked at the man, really looked at him. Expensive suit, but off the rake, not tailored. Shoes were good, but worn. Wedding ring was gold, not platinum. He'd said he was a platinum account holder, but something felt off. "What's your name?" Maya asked. "I don't have to tell you anything." "If you're such a valued customer, surely you don't mind sharing your name for the complaint you're filing." His eyes narrowed. "Richard Vaughn, and trust me, you'll remember it." Maya typed the name into her phone, searched the customer database she had access to. Richard Vaughn appeared, but his account status was gold, not platinum. And there was a note flagged on his profile. Customer has history of verbal altercations with staff. Multiple complaints filed. Recommended for account review. "Mr. Vaughn," Maya said slowly, "I see you're a valued customer. Gold tier." "Platinum," he snapped. "The system shows gold." then your system is wrong, just like everything else in this branch. The police were arriving. Maya could hear sirens pulling up outside. Chen's radio crackled. His supervisor was incoming, 2 minutes out. Everything was about to collide. Maya picked up her briefcase, and the movement made Chen's hand jump to his belt. "I'm just getting my business card," she said calmly, slowly opening the case.
2 police officers pushed through the main entrance, hands near their weapons, eyes scanning for threats. They saw a black woman standing at the counter holding a briefcase, a white man pointing at her, a security guard looking overwhelmed, and a dozen people with phones out recording. "Who called this in?" the first officer asked. "I did," Vaughn said immediately. "This woman is trespassing and refusing to identify herself. She's been verbally aggressive, and I believe she may be casing the bank." The officers approached Maya carefully. "Ma'am, we need you to set down the briefcase and provide identification." Maya's hands were steady as she reached into the briefcase. Every movement deliberate, slow, visible. She knew how this scene could be misread, how quickly things could go wrong. She pulled out a leather business card holder, extended a single card to the nearest officer. He took it, glanced down, and his expression changed instantly. "Sergeant," he said quietly to his partner, holding out the card. The sergeant read it, looked at Maya, looked at the card again. Maya Richardson, Chief Executive Officer, Metropolitan Bank. "Oh, shit," someone in the crowd whispered. Vaughn's face had gone from red to white. That can't be." "Officer Chen," Maya said calmly, "could you please call down to the security office and have Director Morrison come to the lobby? I think we need to discuss training protocols." Chen fumbled for his radio, hands shaking. The sergeant cleared his throat. "Miss Richardson, I apologize for the confusion. We responded to a call about a suspicious person." "I understand, officer. You were doing your job." Maya's voice was level, controlled. "Mr. Vaughn reported someone he believed didn't belong in this building. Someone who looked suspicious to him. Someone who fit a certain profile." The word landed like a hammer. Vaughn took a step back. "Now wait just a minute," he started. "You wait," Maya said, and something in her tone made everyone freeze. "You screamed at me in my own building, called me aggressive, implied I was dangerous, demanded I be removed by force, all because you saw a black woman at the counter and assumed she couldn't possibly belong here. It wasn't about—" "What was it about, Mr. Vaughn?" "You said I didn't look like a bank employee. What exactly does a bank employee look like to you?" The lobby was silent except for the sound of phone cameras recording. This footage would have millions of views by nightfall. Vaughn's mouth opened and closed. "I made a mistake. I apologize. I didn't know." "You didn't know because you didn't ask. You didn't listen. You saw what you expected to see, and you tried to have me arrested for standing in my own building." A woman in a sharp gray suit rushed into the lobby, Patricia Morrison, head of security. She took one look at the scene and went pale. "Miss Richardson, I am so sorry." "Patricia, we'll discuss the security protocols in my office." Officer Chen was following procedure as he understood it, but clearly our procedures need revision. Maya turned back to Vaughn. "As for you, Mr. Vaughn, I've reviewed your account history. You have multiple complaints from staff members about verbal abuse. Today, you've demonstrated exactly why those complaints were filed." "You can't. I'm a customer." "You were a customer," Maya said quietly. "Your account will be closed within 24 hours. Metropolitan Bank does not do business with individuals who verbally abuse staff or racially profile other customers." "Racially profile? I never said anything about race." "You didn't have to." The words hung in the air. Vaughn looked around desperately, searching for sympathy, for support. The other customers looked away. The officers had stepped back, making clear this was no longer a police matter. "This is discrimination," Vaughn tried. "I'll sue. I'll go to the press. "The press is already here," Maya said, gesturing to the phones. "You're already viral, Mr. Vaughn. By tomorrow, everyone will know exactly what you did, how you treated someone you thought was powerless, how quickly you demanded force be used against a black woman for the crime of standing quietly at a counter." Vaughn grabbed his own briefcase and pushed toward the exit, the crowd parting silently. The door swung shut behind him.
Maya stood at the counter, surrounded by cameras, officers, staff, and customers, feeling the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. This was more than one man's bigotry. It was every assumption, every microaggression, every casual act of bias that black professionals face daily. The difference was, today, she had the power to push back. Today, everyone was watching.
The lobby cleared slowly. The police officers left after taking statements. Patricia Morrison escorted Officer Chen to her office for what would clearly be a difficult conversation about protocol and awareness training. The customers drifted back to their transactions, but the energy in the room had shifted permanently. Maya stood at the counter for another moment, then picked up her briefcase and walked to the executive elevator she should have used in the first place. By the time she reached her office on the 20th floor, her phone was exploding. The COO, the PR director, the chairman of the board, text messages, missed calls, news alerts. The video was everywhere. Black CEO racially profiled in her own bank. Metropolitan Bank CEO confronted by customer in shocking incident. Maya Richardson viral video exposes everyday racism in corporate America. Maya sat at her desk and watched the footage, saw herself from outside for the first time, saw how calm she'd remained, how measured her responses were, even as the situation escalated. She saw the moment Vaughn's face changed when the business card was revealed, saw the shame, the anger, the desperate scrambling for justification. The video had 15 million views in 2 hours. Her PR director, Jennifer, appeared at the door. "I've got CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News all requesting interviews. The Wall Street Journal moved up their profile, and you're trending #1 on Twitter." "Great," Maya said dryly. "That's exactly how I wanted to start the day." "What do you want me to tell them?" Maya was quiet for a long moment. She could decline all interviews. Let the story die down, move on. Or she could use this moment. "Schedule CNN for this afternoon," Maya said. "I'll do a written statement for the others. And Jennifer, make sure the statement includes this. What happened to me happens to black professionals every single day. The only difference is I had the position and power to defend myself. Most people don't." The interview aired that evening. Anderson Cooper asked the obvious questions: how she felt, what she thought the incident revealed, whether she considered it racism. I think it reveals something we don't want to acknowledge. That even in 2025, even after everything we've supposedly learned, a black woman in expensive clothes standing in a bank lobby can still be perceived as a threat. Not because of anything she did, because of what she looks like. "Mr. Vaughn says he made an honest mistake. It's not honest if it's never made in the opposite direction," Maya interrupted gently. "Has Mr. Vaughn ever demanded a white person in a suit be removed from a bank? Has he ever assumed they were casing the building? The mistake wasn't honest. It was habitual. It was learned. It was the result of 1,000 small biases we pretend don't exist anymore." The interview clip went viral too. 20 million views in a day. But for Maya, the real impact came from the messages. Hundreds of them, thousands. Black professionals sharing their own stories. The engineer assumed to be IT support in his own company. The doctor asked where the real physician was. The lawyer mistaken for the defendant. One message stood out. "I'm a 19-year-old black girl about to start business school. I've been afraid I'd never belong in those spaces. Seeing you stand your ground today changed something in me. Thank you for not backing down." Maya read that message 3 times. The institutional change. 2 weeks later, Maya stood before Metropolitan Bank's entire staff, over 3,000 employees across 12 branches, via video conference. What happened in our headquarters lobby wasn't an isolated incident. It was a symptom of something larger. The assumptions we make about who belongs in professional spaces, the biases we carry without examining them, the ways we treat people differently based on how they look. She outlined new policies, comprehensive bias training for all staff and security, new protocols requiring security to verify complaints before taking action, a confidential reporting system for staff to document discrimination, and most importantly, regular floor walks by executives, including herself, to stay connected to the everyday experiences of customers and staff. We can't prevent every Richard Vaughn from walking through our doors, but we can make sure our own people, our own systems don't compound the problem. We can make sure that when someone is treated unfairly, our institution responds with justice, not complicity. The policies were implemented within a month. Other banks began adopting similar measures. The incident became a case study in business schools. But for Maya, the real measure of change wouldn't come from policies or headlines. It would come from whether the next black professional who walked into a Metropolitan Bank lobby would be seen first as a person, not a problem. The final reflection. 3 months after the incident, Maya received a letter. No return address. Handwritten. Mrs. Richardson, I was in the lobby that day. I was one of the customers recording. I've thought about it every day since. Not just about what happened to you, but about all the times I've made similar assumptions. All the times I've seen a black person in a store and thought, security should watch them. All the times I crossed the street or clutched my purse tighter. I never thought of myself as racist. But watching that video over and over, I realized I would have believed Mr. Vaughn. I would have assumed you were the problem. I'm writing to say thank you for opening my eyes, and to say I'm sorry. I'm trying to do better. We all need to do better. Maya kept that letter in her desk drawer, because that's what this was really about. Not one man's outburst, not one viral video, but the thousands of daily calculations black people make, how to dress, how to speak, where to stand, how to react, just to be seen as human, as belonging, as having the same right to exist in spaces they've earned. The incident at Metropolitan Bank showed what happens when those calculations fail, when respectability politics and careful code switching aren't enough, when someone decides you don't belong and has the power to make that belief dangerous. But it also showed something else. It showed what happens when you refuse to shrink, when you stand your ground, when you force the world to see its own ugly assumptions reflected back. The question. So here's what I want to ask you. How many Maya Richardsons have you walked past without seeing? How many times have you made assumptions based on someone's appearance? How many people have you decided didn't belong somewhere, in a store, a neighborhood, a professional space, without ever examining why you made that judgment? This story isn't just about one incident in one bank. It's about the hundreds of similar incidents happening right now, today, in offices and stores and streets across the country. Most of them don't end with a business card reveal. Most of them end with humiliation, injury, or worse. The question isn't whether racism still exists. The footage proves it does. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Will you be the person recording, speaking up, intervening? Or will you be the person who looks away, assumes the person of color must have done something to deserve the treatment, tells yourself it's not your problem? Because here's the truth Maya Richardson learned that day, the truth she'd known her whole life. Racism doesn't just hurt the people it targets. It diminishes all of us.
It makes our institutions weaker, our communities more divided, our humanity smaller. Share this story. Have the uncomfortable conversations. Examine your own biases. Speak up when you see injustice. Because the next Maya Richardson might not have the power to defend themselves. They might need you to be their witness, their ally, their voice.